So I went to Pride this weekend, the parade here in Chicago, and you know what I didn't see? I didn't see anybody like walking around with a fruity measuring rod, making sure you were queer enough to be there. Like I didn't see anybody walking up to guys that looked a little too cis, a little too het, wearing their cargo shorts, making sure that they were like accompanied by the appropriate number of bi girls. I didn't see any of that. You know what's funny about that is that the internet discourse the last like 6 weeks or so convinced me that I was going to see that. I was convinced that I was going to be walking around and there were going to be people policing like what was in somebody's pants. You know what I did see is I saw folks wearing like their leather or like their fursuits or pleather. One guy was even wearing chains, which I only note because like it was a lot of chains and they looked really heavy, and it was June. And that's just a lot to commit to, like outside in June. But you know what? Get your core workout in however you have to get it. Several drag queens were dressed up in dresses made just of balloons, which was pretty incredible. So many kids. There were so many kids at Pride. I actually got to witness this little kid on a tricycle. My husband and I were walking down the sidewalk, and it was this kid and like I think his mom. We walked past somebody in a fursuit next to a couple people in some pup masks, and you know what the kid did? Said, "Oh, what's that?" And the mom said, "Oh, lots of people wear costumes to Pride. Isn't that fun? You're gonna see lots of people in costumes at Pride." And then you know what happened? Nothing
happened.
Because the kid understood costumes. He understood what a costume was. And then just kept pedaling. Like nothing happened because nothing did. Isn't that insane? It's almost like all of this discourse that we do every year about making Pride family friendly or not bringing your boyfriends to Pride. It's almost like it's all just terminally online nonsense. Maybe we could remember that next year. You know what I did see that I really loved was right at the beginning of the parade, the biggest cheer went out for Planned Parenthood. I mean, a cacophony. You know what? I take that back. That wasn't the biggest cheer of the day. The biggest cheer of the day was at the end. I think it's really worth remembering that some of the stuff that we scream about on the internet doesn't actually represent how people go to Pride, why people go to Pride. You know what I saw this weekend was a celebration and a protest, as Pride always was and as it always will be. I'm not saying the community doesn't have issues. I'm not saying that some of these aren't good points about safety and security and making sure that our spaces are protected for the most marginalized among us. But what I will say is that the way that these arguments are consistently framed doesn't seem to reflect the reality that we live when we go to Pride. Let's keep that in mind as we move into Gay Wrath Month. Thank you. Goodbye.